Where would we be without the various products delivered by the men and women in the trucking industry? Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast is a platform for professional long-haul truck drivers to share their journeys over the road, educating listeners about the trucking industry and lifestyle. Now, let's dive into the conversation on this brand new episode. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is a video, which we are going to take the audio from and add to the podcast. So if you listen to the podcast, you don't know that we're smiling at you.
We always smile inside, though.
Yeah, always. I'm Dr. Huntley. I am your host and joined today by my co-host,
Dr. Huntley's husband, Jonathan. Yeah.
Did I sense a little something there?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Love your shirt, though, by the way.
Again, those of the listening to the podcast don't know that we're wearing some pretty awesome shirts with our logo embroidered on the pocket. I guess you're going to have to find this video on our brand new YouTube channel, which I think you should subscribe to.
Yes.
We are the hosts of the Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast, and it's all about having this platform for truck drivers to share their journey over the road in a healthy, using my air quotes. We do talk about health, but think of healthy as in good, positive conversations that share insights and just topics that are relevant to over-the-road truck drivers. So today we are going to have a little chat about something that is on Jonathan's heart. So why don't you kind of explain the topic?
Well, Doc, it's a pleasure to be with you today. Just want to let that know. Now, the topic I have today is it's been weighing on me for a while. Is the how do you put it? The culture of driving today. I remember back in the day when my uncle was driving. He used to tell stories about helping and teaching and trying to get the newer drivers to a better spot in their profession. And, I've been doing this since 2009, and there's been a decline of that kind of an attitude and a helping spirit when it comes to teaching these younger guys how to drive, not to drive, but give them tips and try to help them along in their journey of becoming a better professional truck driver. So it's been on my heart and things that I've been thinking and seeing. It seems that people are more quick to take out of the camera on their phone and criticize a person that, might be backing up for the first time instead of just getting out of the truck and, finding his mental state and helping him back into a spot or find directions or parking spots or routes and things like that. So that's what I would like to talk about today.
I can see that. And I'm going to keep adding in his or her, because I can imagine, just like for anyone who is, they may be brand new to driving. And yes, you cover all these things in school, but when you get out into the field, it's very different. I can't speak for driving, but I think this applies across all industries. I clearly remember, I'm going to insert one of my techie examples here. I can remember going through when I first did all of my training to be a laboratory scientist. I had to do all the coursework, and I got really good grades. I had a period where we went to our clinical rotation, so we worked at different hospital labs, and we got a chance to kind of do some hands-on, things. And I thought, okay, I've got this now. I graduated, and I thought, I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to ease on into this first job. Yep. I got hired at a huge hospital. I was all excited to just jump in and show them what I know. But I kind of hit a wall because I realized that only makes you teachable, like coachable. You get the basics in like the in-classroom training, but when you're out in the field, it's a whole different world.
Right.
So I can just imagine. I remember what, that awakening that I had, when fortunate for me, I had some great mentors in those early days. We call it working on the bench. So I had great mentors that took me under their wings and really helped me to learn. But it was a good couple of years before I could really find my feet. So I can imagine in trucking, they're in classroom for so many weeks. And then they're cut loose to go solo. That's got to be scary.
It is very scary. And you can throw that in anything that you do in life for the first time. Being a police officer, you go through the academy for 8 weeks back when I was back in there. And then you're thrown into the wolves and you think you know everything, but you don't. Yeah. I mean, I had my first trainer was very adamant about saying, forget about what you learned. The book is the book. You're about to hit the street and you're going to learn the street.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can attach this to anything you do in your professional career when it comes to a new job.
I even think it's relevant, not just for brand new truck drivers, right? So brand new, that's one scenario. As a woman I've been in predominantly male settings. It adds an extra bit of pressure. Even just wanting to ask for help, but just, I don't know, I feel like all eyes are on you even more. And I do think that we need to add in just for people that transition into something different and new. Like if you change from driving one type of truck or hauling one type of, in one area of the industry over to something different, there's like a big learning curve and adjustment.
You're right. There's drivers that have been out there driving for 20 years and never been in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So someone like me who's been in and out of New York City more times than I like to say, I have insights and I have routes and I know these tricks and where to get off and where to get off and, where to stay and where not to stay. So, the knowledge that one has in their field and they don't get it out and expand is, almost selfish.
What about when, like, say a driver has been driving, hauling reefer, like a reefer driver? Is that
a reefer trailer?
Reefer.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not saying
refrigerated.
Okay, refrigerated. Okay. So they've done that for,
It was 420, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about refrigerated trailers.
What?
Exactly. So go on.
Anyway, so let's say they've been doing that for 5, 6, 8 years, right?
Right.
And then they start hauling cars.
Yes.
That's a whole new world. Like strapping on the vehicle and knowing which one to put in the number one spot and back in the belly. And I know all that. You're impressed?
No. You've done it before.
So
true story. True story. When I first started hauling cars, I'd come home and be all excited like anybody with a new career. And then Doc over here would ride sometimes and she'd go load and she'd pick up the cars with me in the golf cart around his big yard. And she's like, why are you putting that there? I would put it there. And shouldn't you back that one on? And once you drive that one on there, and I was like, yes, dear. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, that's good. Well, I'm gonna go get my CDL. No, you're not. But anyways. So yeah, I mean it's a different experience.
So I guess the whole thing here is we should be helping, be more of a
proactive helping, yes.
Yeah, as opposed to being critical and
taking video and sitting on your butt and just not doing anything and watch for their accident to crash.
Now there are those people that don't want to be helped. You can't even approach or.
Well, that's when you get your video out and you start taping. I mean, if you walk up to someone's door and they're having problems, and you say, hey, man, can I help? And they say, no, I'm going to do it myself. Well, that's when you go and you want to protect your property and the property around you. So you get out your tape and you start videoing that.
Make sure they don't
hit you. And then you're losing money and time and expenses and stuff like that. So, but 9 out of 10 times, I don't find anybody that does not want help.
Right.
A prime example is, I saw this guy the other day who was struggling trying to hit the dock to the post office. And he was sitting there for like 10 minutes trying to do it. And he just could not line up his trailer. Other guys went in and walked in and did what they had to do. But I wasn't about to let him because, it's time sensitive stuff that we're trying to deliver here. So I got out and I simply said, hey, what you need to do, what will help you is, serpentine up here like that and then back it up and line it up. And once I did that and he got it, he was very helpful or very thankful. Mm-hmm. And everything moves smoothly. But, for me, as a veteran driver who has countless number of miles under my belt and backing up, I mean, for me to sit there and just let that guy suffer, trying to get the truck in the spot and being embarrassed about it, because no one wants to be embarrassed. Everybody wants to think that they know what they're doing. I couldn't just sit there. So he got it in, and he was very thankful. And we talked a little bit inside and went about our business.
I've heard a lot of other drivers say that you're very much, you're a natural kind of trainer and supporter. So you do have a way of, although I think you have a little bulldog there sometimes, but I think you do have a way of being able to approach in a way that makes people feel like, respected and not like you're just talking down to them.
No, I'd rather be a bulldog than a poodle, but no, I mean, I've been taught. I mean, there's no shame in your game when if you're struggling with something like this podcasting. We have video and bloopers of you telling me what to do, and I don't take it very nicely and kindly, but this is your profession, it's not mine. So,
one day we'll show those. I'm not ready to show them yet.
They were good.
Yeah, he does not like all that instruction, and I'm super rigid. Like, it's got to be this way. And anyway, we won't go there because I feel
like
triggered.
The notes that she's looking at right now. I mean, I'd rather just talk. But
I have notes. We have to say we're going on a rabbit trail otherwise. Okay, so let's give another example of how you can be helpful or ways you can support someone.
Well, it goes to anything you haul. I mean, when you haul cars and there's a new guy or gal that's starting out and is struggling, you want to be able to help them. You don't tell them what to do, but you express, hey, if this was my load and it was on my truck, this is what I would do because this is how I've been doing it. Giving, stuff like that. But there was a guy the other day again at the post office, and he was struggling with straps. And I too, in the beginning, had a problem with straps. It was foreign to me. As a police officer, only straps I put on were handcuffs. So, to go into that kind of world. So I sat there and I said, well, this is what you need to do. And he said, okay. Went back to his truck and came back a few seconds later and said, well, it's too long. What do I do now? So I went in there and gave him a basic, 2-second instruction about the strap. And he said, wow, that's awesome. I've never thought about that. So he did it. And I'm sure he's, doing just fine today.
Yeah.
So you don't want to coach somebody down. You always want to coach somebody up.
Yeah. I think you can really, do you kind of rely on your instincts, your gut? Does you get a sense of whether someone is kind of approachable or not? I'm sure you can kind of go with that. If you are not, you get a sense. People put up body language in ways that they don't want to be, don't approach them, don't bother them. But I think, I have a client completely different, not having to do with trucking, but sometimes it can be super simple. She gave an example of, we were talking about I coach consultants. So she was talking about how she got this new client of hers, and she simply went up to them and, introduced herself and then just asked, can I help you? Like, sometimes it can be that easy.
Yeah, it can. It can. And I fall back on a lot of my training and experiences as a police officer with body language and people's reception of how they're looking or what they're, trying to do and accomplish. If I think someone's unapproachable, I'm not going to approach them. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get in someone's space or try to include what I know into what they are doing. But if I see you struggling, you need help, and it looks like you're going to be able to, receive what I'm saying, I'll talk to you. And it has to go a lot with directions also and places to park. Certain highways that I've been on since, 1991, driving, not maybe just a truck, but as a car, driving a car back and forth to New York from South Carolina, I know a lot of spots to stop and sleep and hauling cars and how to get around certain areas on, Interstate 81 when it gets broke up with wrecks and stuff like that. So, if people are struggling, I'll come now, help them out as best I can. I have guys today that still call me, saying, hey, I'm up here in Carlisle. Where can I go around? I'm up here in New York, up towards Albany. Can I take, 9 up through there and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's the knowledge, and you got to keep it moving and, you know, keep that knowledge rolling. So he or she can pass it on to somebody else who's struggling too.
I think that's a good example of just kind of paying it forward, because once you've got experience, you know, a certain number of years over the road, you've been in a certain area, and just all the knowledge that comes from traveling across, you know, up and down the East Coast for years, you really get to know how to work around, you know, if there's a wreck and it's blocked on 95, the alternate routes, and, you know, how to maneuver around DC at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Been there, done that too many times.
And, you know, just being able to share that with someone that's new, either brand new to trucking or just new to that route, you know, those things can just take away a little bit of the stress, because there's so much stress that exists in what you do that you can't eliminate. But sometimes just being willing to open and share it is one way to just eliminate some of the stress across the board.
There is an awful lot of stress driving a truck. I mean, you're 80,000 pounds, you know, and sometimes, you know, hauling cars are 85 feet long.
Oh, you know, I just remembered a story. Oh, okay. This is great. So I'm not even a truck driver, but a few years ago, I remember, and it was actually a female driver. She ended up, somehow she got turned around, and she ended up in our neighborhood. And she was really trying to figure out how to get turned around. And I really felt for her, because I thought, if that had been me, I would have been panicked. I really would have been freaking out, because I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's nobody there. It was just her. And I was on my walk, and I saw her. And I mean, if she obviously stood out, because you don't see big trucks in our neighborhood. But she had that sort of panic look. And I was walking, you know, like I said, my routine. And she kind of looked like help. And I went over, and she was like, just basically explained that I could understand how she ended up where we were, because, you know, where she was coming from and all that. But I just simply showed her, you know, I said, if you keep going this way, it's going to automatically loop around. So she wouldn't have to worry about backing up somewhere and twisting herself up. And, you know, she circled around. I passed her one more time on her way out, and she had a big smile on her face. And, you know, I was like able to wave, but that little gesture, you know I was able to bring her stress level down tremendously. So I can imagine the opportunities that exist over the road between drivers just all the time. So I think, like you said at the beginning of this episode, instead of, you know, recording and making fun of them, turning it into a joke, try to help someone.
Right.
You know, it would just go a long way.
And there's always going to be a situation out there that, you know, people may believe or don't believe in karma. But if you get into a tight situation yourself and you don't help people out, you may be sitting in the, you know, downtown Bronx at an 11-point intersection with nothing but 11-foot 2 train trestles in front of you, because you followed the directions from the dealer, you followed the directions from the Atlas, you followed the directions from the GPS, and you followed the directions from other drivers who's been there. But you didn't know that New York City put in a no left turn, you know, the week before you got there. So if you don't.
Did that happen to you?
Yes, it did.
It sounded really personal.
They're very personal. So if you don't help, then, you know, karma's not going to come back and help you. If it wasn't for 2, you know, police officers that came and asked me what the problem was, and I simply told them what it was, you know, I followed everything, did everything I was supposed to do. I was on the proper route. But New York City put up a no turn last time, and they had a cop sitting there, and she wasn't going to help me because she's a traffic cop. If it wasn't for the 2 other officers, I'd probably be sitting there today.
Is it waiting for you?
And that was, you know, 7 years ago. So you got to get out and help. Just help people out. I mean, it's all fun and dandy, you know, and, you know, there's people that are making money on it right now with videos and stuff like that. But even the people that are making money on the videos are getting to the point now, come on, guys. I mean, this is ridiculous. Get out and help the person instead of just sitting there, you know, trying to be famous for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, It's we got to teach the younger guys, and we got to teach the newer drivers the ways that we were taught. Now, I was blessed to have a really good trainer, and we're still in contact today. And if I need something, he'll help me out. But if we don't pass that knowledge on, the stigma of our profession is still going to be the dumb, stupid truck driver who doesn't know how to drive a truck and makes everybody else's life miserable. Yeah. If we could all act professional and drive professionally and help the other professionals out, I mean, that's what we are. We're professional drivers. That's what we do for a living. We get paid. Mm-hmm. So it's just like an NFL player. They play football, but they get paid. We drive a truck and we get paid. And our responsibilities are to the motoring public and keep people safe. And the only way to do that is professional. And the only way to do that is to pass on your knowledge to the newer drivers, he or she's. They're coming in here to be professionals also.
Well said.
Well, thank you. Came from my heart.
That's good.
Out of my mouth.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening and for watching us.
Yes. Shirts.
Yes. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Healthy Conversations in Trucking. We are in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places that you normally listen to podcasts, or you can simply go to our website, healthyconversationstrucking.com or HCITpodcast.com. We'll take you there, and you can find all of the episodes from our website. If you are a professional truck driver, especially looking to recruit women on the podcast, then you went from our website, just click on Be a Guest, and that will take you to the steps to join me for an episode where you can share your journey into trucking.
Subscribe, rate.
Yeah, give us a rating.
Give us some ratings.
That helps the algorithm on Spotify or Apple to serve it up to more people that are interested in this topic of trucking. So Thank you all for listening and being a part of this community. And I guess that's all we have for now.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Jonathan. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast. Learn more or be a guest on a future episode by visiting healthyconversationsinTrucking.com or simply HCITpodcast.com.